Howdy, howlers. It's Sako Tumi, also known as Cass Voit, and welcome to the Authortube Sleepover. And I have a guest.
I am here. If not, like, you can't see me, but I am here, and I will make myself known. It is me.
Hooray! Hooray. So right out of the gate, Jordan
Love it.
Mahoney, The Open World. So, my friend, how do you write a sequel, and how do you make the sequel better than your first book, or do you do just as well as the first book? I like the idea of making it a better book. Yeah. I like the idea of it being a better book than the previous version. I like to show growth.
Exactly. So, essentially, yes, your second book should be better than your first book was. And here's the main reason is because you're a better writer by the time you get all the way through one book and into another book. And once you're thinking, especially along the lines of sequels, you've now broadened yourself from a very finite world building. I mean, you knew everything you needed to know about this book, but now you have to think like fourth dimensionally rather than just thinking in three-dimensional terms of this is what I need, who I need, and where it needs to get to. Then you also have to start thinking, okay, well, now that this is who I have, this is what they did, and this is where they got to, how does that impact where the next book, how do the actions reverberate down the storyline? For instance, when Sako and I wrote Flambeau, the first book, in the Hellforge series, which we're now writing the sequel for, we had a character in there that was basically a MacGuffin. We needed a little MacGuffin in order to get one of our main supporting characters into the county morgue. Yeah. So we essentially wrote someone that, they had gotten, kind of a little close with at a bar and, were friends with, sort of. And the character's in there for all of, I don't know, like 5 lines and a total of like 4 or 5 paragraphs worth of mentioning. And that's it. But that is now a main supporting character in book 2, in the sequel that we're writing. So we've had to flesh out that bit character, that kind of rather just an NPC MacGuffin. We've had to flesh it out considerably more. So that's kind of, so your books, they should escalate, is how I say it, but a lot of people take me wrong, like take it in a different direction. So in book 1, Sako and I almost let an incredibly powerful mage get recruited, or not even get recruited, but choose to side with Lucifer and hell and overthrowing heaven and all of that stuff. That doesn't mean that we have to do something that epic again. It doesn't mean we have to one-up it. We don't have to play but we should do this. We're sticking within the same theme. We're sticking within controversy between the mortal realm, hell, and heaven. It's just a slightly different. It's just a slightly different, urgency level, because we're playing it as more. The first book was more of a long game. This book's more of a short game, and then, or shorter game, and with more complicated characters. So,
yeah.
It doesn't mean you just have to just go off the rail, wild with it. You can even recycle essentially your same overall like template theme, like we did with heaven, hell, and the mortal realm caught in between.
Mm-hmm.
So, again,
So, Kat just rearranged her room again.
again,
Again.
I do that all the time. My wife is she's gonna kill me because I'm going to yet again rearrange the office that we share, and she is not.
Ah,
She's not a big fan of um
of change.
yeah. So her aesthetic and my aesthetic are a little odd. Her ADHD is she's actually very organized. She has to stay on top of it or else her anxiety gets the better of her.
Okay.
I I have to have the clutter. I have to have the stuff. I have to have the comfy feeling of things around me and feeling like I'm in a safe little hidey hole.
Mm-hmm.
And divide a not very large room since we downsized up into those two very different styles and us being
Mm-hmm.
together. But I also am constantly rearranging things. Oh, because I wanna figure out what's the best feng shui for me? What works
Right.
best for me? And I don't know that until I try it out. And that's just another one of my wife's big I guess it ties back to, like, negative things in childhood where they would come home her mom was, um, bipolar, and every time they'd come home and the whole house would be rearranged, it meant that mom was in a manic state and was going to crash at some point. So it was kind of one of those like anxiety things. But for me, in my household growing up, it was a way to manage anxiety and to manage your depression was to move your environment around. There's not a lot you can do to like that doesn't cost much, whatever, whatever. But I can definitely take some shelves down and put up new shelves, put the same shelves up someplace else, and move the position of my bed. So it's just two totally different things. Sorry, I went off on a huge tangent there for that.
I'm having to flesh out supporting characters for a series that I hadn't planned on writing.
The Sako method that we've used since the beginning is awesome for that because it lets you go in and really it really does let you go in and like have your individual sections and how it ties in. It gets a little snip of each thing, and then you can make your whole big other document that's linked to it, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, fleshing out supporting characters that it can be a big deal. Well, when Sako and I were discussing again, we'll go back to Darian. The NPC MacGuffin in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
Then we decided to make them a massive supporting character in the second book, and so she and I really had to hash over. Well, who was this person? Because originally in the first book, we didn't. We had considered them not being like magically inclined or supernaturally inclined or whatever. But with this book, it makes sense for them to be. So like we had to like get away from our whole original even template cookie cutter idea of the
Mm-hmm.
character in the first book. But it takes time, yeah.
Hi, Debbie. So Debbie just rearranged the house for the third or fourth time since they moved there.
I literally give my wife heads ups if okay, so I have plants. I like plants and things like that. So occasionally I have to repot some things, move some stuff around, change the sun lamps, all that stuff. But I have what I call an ICU plant area, and it's where, for whatever reason, the plant is struggling and it gets to go to this very specific area. I have like metered light and humidity levels and like stuff for.
Uh-huh.
I will warn I will warn my wife if I move a plant from its normal place to the plant ICU
Yeah.
because I've moved it. And it's one thing. I just moved one thing. So
Right.
if I had moved this place, I had been working on my wife for 2 years to get me to let her have rearrange our actual bedroom.
Yeah.
Like, 2 years. She still hasn't said yes that she'll let me rearrange it.
I got you. For a cat, it's also to manage their stress and anxiety.
Yeah, it never occurred to me because for every woman in my family that's it's either we go into isolation mode, total dissociation, and we sink into a couch with junk food and just watch a bunch of movies and TV and stuff,
Hmm.
or we clean the heck out of the house, we move things around, we declutter, which doesn't happen often, but we do declutter sometimes. But yeah, it never occurred to me that that could be an opposite that could like cause stress and anxiety. So you live and learn.
It's a real good thing that Jennifer likes these characters, 'cause most of them anyway.
Yeah, it is. It's good. I ran into that with my Metaphysical Chronicle series, so my psychics and serial killers. The first book I had a coroner that was or yeah, it was just supposed to be a supporting character. Um and she's got to come into play. She had to come into play more in book 2, and I'm pretty sure I might be able to leave her out of book 3, but I don't think so. I think she's gonna have to be in there again. I just don't like writing her because she's um, a racist, awful person. So
Mhm.
she's necessary for the story, for certain themes and underlying things, but it's still also just a.
Hi, Cool Gamer. Whatever happened to Cool Gamer 1?
Yeah. Wait? Didn't they tell us last week?
Did they? I
That we were
asked,
both.
but I don't know
I
that
know we
they.
asked. Yeah, I know that they. I know that you asked, and I was like, "Oh yeah," and I don't remember answering, but I could swear they did. I don't know.
I missed it.
I was also just really, really, you know, streaming under the influence.
I got you.
SUI is now. SUI is probably should just become my official like uh, channel name at this point.
The
Streaming
SUI.
under the influence. SUI.
Oh, and saying hi on the other channel as well.
Thank you. It's for those that don't know, I think just about everybody in here does know, but for those that don't know, might be watching this later, whatever. Um, we're here live on Sako's channel. But graciously we stream, she's cool with me streaming it to my channel as well so we can hit the audiences that don't overlap, which I don't think is very many, but hey, if it's two more people, it's two more people.
Yeah. Sometime this month, I think it's gonna charge me again for StreamYard, but I can't afford it this year.
Are you having to do it well then okay, so sometime you said sometime this month?
Yeah, sometime this month.
Okay, that just lights a fire under my ass. Well, one, I still have my StreamYard for a while, so and it's paid.
Okay.
So we can use that. But so we can just swap to my channel basically, and then dual to yours. That would be a
Okay.
fun change up. We should just do that every so often. Just be like, all right, this is Sako's 90 days. This is her quarter of we stream from her channel with her branding and blah blah blah, and then flip it. That could be fun.
That could be
If I
fun.
can ever if I can ever actually be consistent enough with my health. I was doing so good. It's okay though.
Okay. So, where did we leave off?
Hold on here real quick.
There is a bunch of stuff that you here. Let me present screen. This thing.
Where did I do that?
So there's like all this cool stuff that I feel like
yes,
maybe we should chat about.
yes. Hold on. I'm just logging into my my Lucid real quick. Come on. I don't even know why it closed me out of it. It's like the one thing there we go. The one thing I never close out of. Not that I don't have a bookmark, but you know, after that last the last time of where is it? I can't find it. Yeah, had a small freak out moment. Okay, yeah, so where we had left off, where I left off here. Let me remind myself what I even wrote. Oh, so yeah, when I got to this beat, you know, this beat specifically had Kyler being able to use their clairvoyance to be able to communicate with the spirits and mages that make up the Unbound. But we don't really establish even a hint of that before here because because it's not until after this, I think. Hold on real quick. Okay. Down, scroll. Keep scrolling.
Yeah. It's a bit of a hang up.
Yeah, we know we want that, but we've got to establish at least somebody or something, you know, popping in and out of their head, you know, something along those lines of leaning, maybe because the maybe because the oracle, you know, the oracle power is growing within them. Then it's augmenting, you know, the necromantic ability that just hasn't been basically nurtured at this point. But we need to go back and figure out where we can get that in, and it makes sense. I know where I have one idea of where it could go in, but I think it's too close together. Let's see here.
Here, hold on a second.
Oh, the program that we're using, Debbie, is called Lucid Spark. LUCIDSPARK. So like lucid, like being dreaming, spark like fire. And they do have what we're working off of. I know what I'm working off of at least is their free that they have, but you can pay for extra stuff. It's really cool, really really cool. Um, so yeah, where I think it could go in would be in where Gloria is attacked. So this is where, we start to get into the whole like the who the seven princes actually are, and that Lucifer and Satan are two different beings, and blah 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 blah. And then she gets kidnapped, and they torture her for Timet's location. So I I think we could kind of get it in here as long as we make it more or less a Gloria linked to Kyler moment at very least, and then through that could even feel maybe the whole Tiamat's death and everything. So I think we could put it there if we just sprinkle it in. We're not real heavy with it. Like it could be a shock to Kyler, of course. And like, what the hell was that? Kind of a reaction. But I think it could go there. And that gives us enough to um then get into, because that's chapter 9 and then it's chapter 14, you know, area where with Kyler's clairvoyance, they can communicate with the spirits and mages that make up the Unbound. So we know they can communicate with spirits. Now they can communicate with Gloria, and the elders being in their head. Um, and then all we have to do is, slip in the mages somehow. What do you think? Or is that too sloppy? Hey, Minty. Yeah, go right ahead and do some studying. We're gonna study how the hell we get ourselves out of our little plot predicaments. I'm just worried that that's too messy. But we've got to get in there somehow, being able to communicate with mages. Um, Actually, I don't think it's good. I don't think it's necessarily good. That Kyler can. Now that I'm thinking about it, that they can communicate with Gloria. But I do feel like it should somehow be through Gloria that even the elders like Tiamat realize that they can just pop into Kyler's head whenever, whatever. I will be quiet for a few moments unless you think. Stupid. She vanished. I used to be a big sticky noter myself, cat. I still am to a certain degree, but now I have all these digital ones. It's great. Cats don't play with them and knock them off the walls. I mean, they walk across my keyboards as often as they can. I have to unplug my keyboard basically like all the time. Just if I'm going to be away from my desk, I unplug the keyboard.
My husband, sorry, I forgot that I was muted. The husband, so we just got a new kitten. And apparently they were doing some bonding, and he wanted me to see it, but kind of in the middle of something. So
Yeah,
hi,
it's like
Nicole.
okay, it's like that's nice. I would love to do that.
I have a cat targeting me right now.
As a matter of fact, my cat has come to Target as well. I'm having to lay out the armor of the lap blanket.
The armor of the lap blanket.
Yeah, so my babies are big biscuit makers, and they have, I swear to God, raptor talons. Like they're just long and like, and they hurt. Spot is a little better about it. Um, like he doesn't like try to kill me, but Gozer deliberately needs as hard as he can and like walks his way off of whatever is the protective surface just so he can get to your skin. And then I end up with, puncture marks if I'm not paying attention. So the cats have learned if there's not a blanket on my lap, they are not allowed on my lap. They can ask.
Makes
but
sense.
They can't. Yeah. So, but Spot gets a little. He's not the most patient. He'll ask if he can come up, and then he just kind of starts to jump up anyway, whether I got the blanket ready or not. All of my animals have some sort of weird, like, picadillo about what cool, awesome thing they will do as far as a trick or a behavior or whatever, and then a whole bunch of just weird what they won't do. Oh, lay in your arms. Oh, yeah. See, I just can't write by hand. I can't use my stylus.
I just find that I type faster than I write.
Oh no, it's not so much as that, although it is partially that I type faster, and my typing can keep up with my brain a lot better than my handwriting can. No,
Mhm.
it's because Spot attacks my stylus. He thinks it's or my pencil. He thinks it's a toy. Like I'm like
Ah,
I'm like I'm playing with him, and he just goes to town. And so I kind of have to like decide to use my stylus or whatever if I notice he's asleep someplace else.
hi, Heather.
Hi, Heather.
Isn't it so? They usually go to sleep in about an hour, give or take.
Yeah.
I was like, isn't it past your bedtime? No, it is still early.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not that bad for y'all right now.
How are you guys? We're doing. I am exhausted. Uh, I
Yeah.
I have a new kitten, and they have the zoomies, and Greg is downstairs bonding with said kitty Obake, which is ghost in Japanese.
What is it again?
Obake.
Oh, okay, okay. I kind of know that one.
Oba for short.
That's cool.
Yeah, like 12 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really young. That's just about as old as Spot. You know, we got Spot and his sister together. But it's about as old as they were when we got them, but they were barely 5, 6 weeks old when my friend found them in their with their litter mates in a box in the park.
I write things by hand to help me remember. I find if I type things, I forget easier. That's interesting.
Yeah, yes and no. It depends on if I got. It depends on did I have to get a device out in order to
Mhm.
type it,
Yeah.
or was I just right in front of it and typed it? If I had to go find a device, sit down, then there's extra steps for me. If I had to go find a pin, if I had to go find a pin instead, yeah, it would be whatever's convenient and closest. But I would probably type because my handwriting is horrible.
Hi, Funky Sai. Fancy seeing you here, Heather. Sounds like the kitty is pretty happy. It's dinner time. Be back later? Okay, see you later. Um, that's around the age I got Mozart and Loki. Oh,
Yeah.
my husband is terrified that the kitty is going to pass away, and like because our last two
I know.
passed
Had
away
your had your hearts broken
twice over. Yeah,
twice over recently.
yeah. We're coming up on a year.
Mm.
Um, it was rough going, and husband grieved for a very long time, and he's ready to move on. Except he has the paranoia that the cat is going to pass away. So,
I mean, it's just a fear, a fear of losing something that he's fallen in love with again.
mhm. Yeah. I see Nikki is being fancy again.
Smashi, smashi.
Did I miss something?
I'm not sure. I mean, hold on, I'm yawning.
No, the last thing I saw her post was her hello.
Maybe just because she
How
has her
are the other two
signature.
cats doing with the baby? Hashi is one part wanting to play, one part hissy. And I think we should get a feel away collar. So the hissing is at a minimum. And he hasn't met Pabu yet. Pabu is blind and deaf, so meeting Pabu
Will be slow.
yeah.
It'll be slow and deliberate. And also, Pabu has quite the attitude, you know. So
Yeah. Meow.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of collars and keeping hissing to the minimum, I'm now that the neighbor is leaving their windows, their blinds open, and their cat tree is right there in the window. Spot just sits in the window and cries for that other cat like all day. So thinking we're gonna get little collar. I like him meowing. I like him talking to me, but this is that. If you saw that the TikTok of the cat that's like, I'm so alone. Sometimes I'm alone. Sometimes I'm not. Like this. It just sounds like that. He has the most mournful, loud cry, and he's up at 6:15 in the morning screaming at that window because the sun has not come to the east yet. Yeah, see, I don't know where to sprinkle this in.
I don't know that we sprinkle it in. I wonder if we just renege it.
Okay, we could. Let me see here. Let me zoom on in. Um, so
I have this bug bite on my hand that is really bothering the heck out of me.
like just itchy, or like swelling, or like peeling.
There is a red spot where the bite mark was.
Okay.
It's a little swollen, like there's still some venom in there, and it's a little itchy, but it's sensitive, so I don't want
Yeah. Normally I don't. I'm gonna guess you don't have any drawing salve like in your house. Most people don't keep it. Um, but normally what I do is like, but you can order it off of Amazon, CVS, whatever.
to. Fancy
I get
signature. Oh. I
it's just
didn't
where she
notice a
has
fancy signature.
it's just where she has Nikki, where at the end of her
Oh,
list.
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so some drawing salve should do the trick unless you're like allergic to it, and that should just draw out the rest of the venom, and that'll give the everything else a chance to inflammation chance to go down. Don't watch though. Don't rub either.
Just
Just pat. You can pat. It'll do more than scratching will anyway.
this program
Programs
is Lucid Spark.
and they have a free version and they have a stuff version, like more paid stuff. So yeah, for this beat, I think we um yeah, I think this would have to come out of here. They would have to discover it later.
We keep saying like Kyler has no control of telepathy, but they develop telepathy? Question
Yeah, I
mark?
know. Like, so that was another one that we had decided. Well, first we were going to go with the telepathy, and that was their main thing, and then we decided to kind of junk that and go with um not having telepathy, but they have the necromantic abilities.
That should,
We've done.
the necromantic stuff we kind of hint at in book 2, but I think
Yeah, it won't come out more until book 3.
we decided that we were gonna really pull out the stops.
So here's my thought: is if we um so if we oh, hold on, I lost my train of thought for a second. Okay, so all right, here's my general thought: is we take it out of this section um where Kyler's being used as this form of basically just like the Pony Express, like
Yeah.
Kyler's being used as email,
Mhm.
as during the battle. Instead of that, because that does place them more in a with a passive thing and we don't want them to be passive in that scene at all because they've got to build to that big bad bold um from hell thing. So we can definitely go with the elders, and I guess would be technically vampires as well.
Any
Creature,
undead. Yeah.
any undead creature, Kyler should be able to grab their attention, their spirit, their essence, their brain, whatever it is, attention, and
Mhm.
commune with them, just like they do for seances. And theoretically, they should be able to possess Kyler's body and Kyler be able to possess their body, theoretically. Actually, no, we haven't gotten to Kyler being able to possess someone else, just being able to channel the spirit or quote unquote dead, undead person.
She explains to
Yeah.
Kyler how they kept her alive by feeding her animal, torturing her. Eventually, she broke and gave up. The summoned the elder Tiamat for help. In a flashback, described Tiamat's death as the churches ambushed her. With Tiamat's death, the vampire elders are ready to declare fealty along with most of the vampires, although some hold out.
Yeah, so I thought if we put that in here, um, she summons Tiamat, and then we see, the ambush laying in wait. That gives really nice visceral and kind of gets us out of just the explainy, I guess.
Do we do this in a flashback or do we do this live?
No, I'm thinking we do it live. So,
Okay.
oh, well, no, actually, this would, hold on. If it stays here where I've got it, it would be a flashback. It could be done either way. I don't want to. I don't want to like have too much. I don't want to mess with the pace. Um,
Then
where do we actually have Gloria
use the
kidnapped?
note. There's a note in a flashback. Does she have the flashback about the thing, even though it technically just happened?
Yeah, so what I was thinking was we wouldn't give them the flashback of her being tortured per se, like of her torture, but we would give the from her perspective of her watching Tiamat be slain, just be ambushed and just slain on sight. So it's not a flashback of what's happening to her, it's a flashback of what she witnessed happening at the same time. So it's I don't know. I don't know how to do it. So I
Or maybe we just get real visceral with
with the torture.
With the death.
Of Tiamat?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Iris comes to Darian to tell him that Gloria's been kidnapped. So Iris comes to Darian? Iris is part of the Unbound. They witness and learn about it near firsthand. Gas Lamp District.
Yeah, I think we put Iris coming to Darian in here so that we could sprinkle her in a bit more
Mm-hmm.
to not let her flag. That's why we had Iris going.
Yeah.
So they want to try and save her.
So Darian. So hold up. Darian was kidnapped.
Not till later. Let me find it real quick. Okay, so yes, just shortly after that, so Darian, with the help of the Unbound, they talk to Ham, the officer. Ham has nothing to do with it. He's disgusted. He wants to help them. Gives them shows them places where he thinks that the church might be keeping him, but she's not being kept there. Darian finds the Bible. After that is when Darian gets kidnapped.
So Darian goes to the church.
Yeah. Trying to find Gloria, thinking maybe Gloria's there. Maybe that's where they're holding her, like they held the other vampire for the dinner that Kyler went to.
Right.
Yeah. You know, Darian just being trying to be proactive and do his thing, support thing. I'm not saying he goes by himself. He definitely goes with some Unbound.
Reach out to Della to get word to Daisaku's soul that there are hellish shenanigans going on.
I think we have a couple duplicate post-its in here. Not until further down, though.
And then James. So except Daisaku's soul doesn't care, right?
No. We just... I don't think we said didn't care. Hold on.
Because he had to consent to being contacted. And he doesn't consent to it. Do you remember that?
I just remember that Tyler couldn't get through. And that was the... hold on here. Where is it? Got it here somewhere.
Okay, so we have decided that with the clairvoyance, he can communicate with the spirits, but not the mages.
Yes. So he can communicate with anything undead, but that would not include mages.
Or undead.
And we could do a very, very fine line later, world building wise, if we needed to, that for some reason necromancers themselves are 1 foot in the grave. So technically they might later, if we need it, be able to communicate with other necromancers that way.
So maybe when maybe either Della or James lets him know that he's not a psychic, he's a necromancer.
Yeah, that could be definitely here. So, excuse me. So chapter 12 is where we have Dershia, Kyler trying to find more help, worried. Darian's been kidnapped. Shit's getting real. Dershia suggests to Kyler. We haven't heard back from Justicia. You tried. Maybe you can reach out. You know, maybe you can reach out to Daisaku Soul. But nothing is... They can't. Like, for whatever reason, can't seem to get through. And then that has Kyler reaching out to Della. And just basically been like, you're more powerful than I am.
Come on. Can't seem to get through. James basically tells them that they've been undermining their power, but
I mean, but this is where James can be, whomever, this is where one of these peeps can basically say,
you're not a psychic, you're
yeah,
a necro.
not to, yeah. It's not that you're not. It's not even that you're really undermining your own psychic powers. You're completely ignoring the fact that you're a necromancer and not a psychic. So yeah, and of course the whole cutting them off from their power. Blah blah blah. You have to have confidence in yourself. Fake it till you make it. Stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So this goes into the Gloria escaped earlier. Blind spot, Jesus.
Okay, so does Gloria go to Kyler after
She escapes?
Yeah.
So yeah, what we had in here was that she had to hide out for a little bit to feed and restore her health. I'm assuming that basically the reasons we've had the gap in between, that she's not been brought up at all, is because she was either just immediately escaped, or she had she had just escaped, or she because of how she'd been fed and tortured and treated, she was basically in a ravenous state and kind of had to go to ground for a little bit and do normal feeding, heal up a little bit before she could even make her way back. Like, the ordeal to get free was that much.
Yeah.
I
So
kind of like that one.
Nikki is like, how the hell can you keep up? Honestly, we haven't been able to. So that's why we had to go back to the outline.
Yeah, we absolutely did have to go back. My mouse go just pissing me off tonight. There it is. Yeah, no, it like Sako was saying, is honestly it's been easier keeping up with it this way. I think we've been able to see where if we fix something and change something in one spot, within a couple of post-it notes, we're noticing that that can't happen because what we just did changed something major down below. So we've either have to change what's below or change what's above. But when we were in just the outline in the Google Doc, we were finding a lot of holes because we were just focused on each individual beat at a time, like each individual sentence.
Yeah.
At least that's how I felt.
Yeah.
But other than that, we gave ourselves a key and we do our very, very best to just talk with each other on where it needs to go. Yeah, so then this gets us to, excuse me, hold on real quick while I just get dominated by an orange cat butt. Jeez. He's got this thing lately. He leaps up the back of so on Mondays and Tuesdays my wife doesn't work, so she's not in the office, and she has the much nicer office chair. So I steal it on Mondays and Tuesdays, and he loves to just jump up he loves to just jump up the back of it and climb up it and then jump into my lap. But when he jumps into my lap, he's avoiding my keyboard. So instead he just kind of slides down the front of my face. Yeah, slides down the front of my face. I knew you would appreciate the imagery as soon as you got it. And then he kind of lands with he looks like his forelegs and chin are resting directly on my on the apex of the legs and thighs on the V area, and and then it's just I literally have a cat butt and a tail still wrapped up the top of my head. It looked like I'm wearing a veil of orange cat, but the butt is in my face. Anyway.
All right. So Doricia readies the reinforcements to go against Zebulon's cult.
Yeah. these are the areas where we can just take this out.
An extension of their own necromancy or Pythia's power or something awakened by Tommy's crew.
So if we do have them be able to connect with not just the undead at some point, it wouldn't be an extension, I don't think, of their necromantic abilities. But it could. I don't know that it could be an extension of Pythia's power either. So maybe something awakened by Tommy, but I don't know enough about that mythos. So
and then the Sisters Grey with the weird and the stuff.
Yeah, we can kind of. So, I had this here as if we added to this area that now Kyler can seemingly communicate with the living in his, in their head, then that would be great to finally bring the Fates in book 3. That would be definitely stand up noticeable. And now they don't know what to do with this.
Right.
So it was just the thought. I was like, oh, we have this, and we've been trying to use it this whole book, but maybe a fun teaser at the end of this could be like a flashback to these Fates, to the scene of the Fates in this moment. If that, but it only works if we go with eventually Kyler can also essentially commune telepathically with living things.
Meow.
I hear somebody.
That is Pabu.
Yes, I know. My little kindred deaf kitty. We
Kindred
have big
Death
mouths.
Kitty.
Yeah, we have
Yes,
big mouths because we don't know how loud we are.
such a meow.
I used to remind people all the time, because especially like my ex was always reminding me that I I never whispered. I couldn't whisper. And I was like, no, I can't whisper. I can't fucking hear. It's like, I don't know how loud I am. Sometimes I think I'm being super loud, and like my wife's like, I cannot hear a thing you're saying. I was like, so that's what a whisper is, but I don't know how to gauge it. Anyway, okay. So yeah, this was just an idea here off to the side. So, but we have to decide. Where are we having them realize that they can also communicate with the living?
I figure the talking to the living will come up in book 3.
Okay. Okay. Then that's awesome, because I think then I gotta change this because it's not the Sisters of Grey anymore. We learned you and I have been using the wrong thing for the Fates.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Fates. So then, kind of like we did with, like we're doing with book 2, where we went back to Daisaku's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
We'll we'll
The
have
prequel. Yeah.
yeah, we'll have this Fae part here be the prequel of the Fates noticing what's going on, and they don't know
Because
what to
we
do.
only bring up Pythia. Yeah, mentioned that Pythia is still around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, hold on here.
So instead of like just hardcore visions, like the visions are either memories, which is what they've been thus far, I think. No, they saw the Justicia and Lucifer.
Lucifer. Yeah. But that's also questionable too, of was that a real vision, or like we had discussed, just bantering about in book 3, the whole idea of Lucifer being one big chess master in this and having kind of
Right.
set that up. So what was it, a real vision, or was it a planted vision, or kind of like stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was burning through this when I was doing this, and like
Necromancer
everything.
made me think of Necronomicon. I will
Yep.
be in touch quite soon, Ari, all of that. Okay, no problem. Let me know. Oh, please pardon my yawning. Jeez.
I'm doing the same thing. Y'all just can't see it. But the funny thing is I'm still like covering my mouth and turning my head away as if
Yeah,
I were normally on camera.
it's funny.
Yeah, because we don't, I mean, Pythia has not as of yet come up. I mean, other than the whole funeral
Well,
thing at
Pythia
the beginning.
obviously bags out at one point.
Well, yeah, we gotta have Pythia just be like, boom, I picked you, baby. You're my vessel or whatever.
Or whatever.
So, okay. But it's got to come after this whole thing with talking to James, because
Mm-hmm.
I think it's important that it comes out somewhere around here. So, couldn't get a hold of Justicia earlier. Also couldn't get a hold of Daisaku, who's dead and should be able to get a hold of. James says, "Hey, maybe it's because you're not a psychic. Maybe it's because you're actually a necromancer. You've been ignoring it. Maybe this is the place where I don't want to call it Kyler's lie, but like a minor lie about themselves was holding them back."
Right.
Like, yeah, so now they know what they are. Some things can click into place. So it should be just after here. This should be enough for Pythia to, because I mean, Pythia's just been waiting this whole time just to see, has this kid got the stuff? So I think it's like that literal point there makes it so that the last obstacle to Tyler's enlightenment is lifted. They finally know themselves. Have
Right.
oh, that's also very. That's also just very. That's also just very queer empowering right there.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that particular moment. Yeah, because believe me growing up trying to explain to my family that I liked everybody, and then just be like, "No, you mean you like boys and girls?" Be like, "No, no, no, I like everybody, everybody."
Yeah, I like everybody.
It's like, but there wasn't. But when I came out, that was in the late '80s, early '90s. There was not a word outside of bisexual, and that was barely on the table because people just did not understand. But
No, they thought that we just
had to
because
pick
we
one or
are
the other.
man, we would fuck everything with two legs.
Yeah,
And
there
that's
was
simply
there was
not
that.
true.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But yeah, there was the whole oh, then you just big ass sluts, and you just want everybody's cake. You want your cake, and you want everybody else's cake too. And I'm like, no, we just are the equal opportunists. Everybody stands a chance, but not everybody's gonna get a chance. It's like the lottery. Not everybody wins, but everybody can participate if they would like.
I might have to bag out.
Oh, okay. Everything okay?
I am so tired.
Okay, babe. I get it. You do what you got to do. I am gonna. Oh my God! Tell me about it, Debbie. My family was so confused when I started dating again after my first marriage ended because I
Mhm,
married a dude, you know,
mhm.
cis het dude. Um, and they thought that my phase was over. And then I
Yeah.
started dating again afterwards, and they're like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa!" Because I had to, I was kind of living between families' houses. I was living with my sister for a little while, who had kids, and I was living with her for a little while where her husband was deployed. And I was like, "What are the grown-up rules of the house?" I was like, "I'm gonna date," and she's like, "Yeah, just don't bring anybody to stay the night." And I wasn't, yeah, and I was like, and I wasn't allowed to bring technically any women over or any non cis het any non cis dude over. That's the only thing I could bring over. My mom's house, my mom didn't care. She just was like, she's like, I kind of thought you were done with that. I was like, no, I just happened to
No.
fall in love with and I just happened to fall in love with a dude and marry them before I can, meet the right chick. There were all of about, three lesbians in my town, and everybody else was just a bi curious, college kid. So
Yeah.
like a very small, very Midwestern town. But yeah, no, and if you're hetero presenting, it's hard too. If, like my first marriage, hetero presenting, and I mean my marriage now, we were hetero presenting at first,
Mhm.
but then my wife discovered who she actually is. So, but that it's just if you're hetero presenting and you're bi, it's weird. If you're pan, it's really weird because people really don't get the difference between bi and pan and omni and all the difference under that umbrella. But anyway, getting off topic. You're gonna fall asleep. So what I want to establish is we definitely know right around here is where boom, the last obstacle is being raised. Um, hey, you're not really a psychic, you're actually a necromancer. Do you realize that?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And then Pithy goes, now that you know yourself, I can reveal myself and who you are, what you are. As long as it continues with the rest of the beats. Hopefully. Okay. I'm gonna drop a little note in here for it.
Okay.
And then I might go down a few more beats, off stream. But yeah. But if I get to any weird points, I'll just stop like I did last time. Okay. Want to do outro and stuff?
Yeah, sure. If you like this video at any point, I encourage you to hit the like button. And if you want to see more streams like this one, then you can usually find me on Tuesday mornings and Tuesday evenings. You might want to subscribe and maybe even ring the bell on the off chance that YouTube actually notifies you when I go live. And I will catch you guys on the flip side.
See ya.